Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stoneface Reactions. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we're here to watch some Gundam 00. Last time, I heard the troubles in Ireland are over.
I was just
I can't get over it.
in the time before between recordings. I was just regaling Griff with the concept from a book called Flash Forward, and I just had a real funny thought in my head. If I just started that conversation over again, everything I just said, 10 minutes of conversation, say it all again.
What was the year in the series here? Do you remember?
2307, I believe.
Yeah, 2307. 300 extra years of the troubles, and now they're finally over.
That's correct, Griff. We're recording this in 2007. You've dated us. We've, in fact, highly anticipated the results of that poll that we did by, 13 years, and now decided to release this set of videos. So, mind you, we may not respond to any comments given in the videos since we're recording these 13 years ago. By the way, I'm also psychic and know that here in 2007 that we will be releasing these, 15 years from now. By the way, who's
Masterful bits.
who's president right now, Griff?
I don't know, but I'm pretty excited for the 2008 election. I think that Obama guy has some great ideas.
Keep hope alive, or whatever he was saying.
Hope and die, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm really in touch with that Dean Cain guy.
Pokemon go to the hope polls. I don't know.
Invest in Tesla, but
All
only for
right.
a little while.
So at least to get back on track, we did have a couple of different things happen. We had our little duel happen with our Eugene proxy character.
What's his name,
Uh,
Griff?
no idea. We're gonna get to that. I'm gonna
Okay,
start making notes.
and yeah, I'm gonna give you a good moniker that should help you remember. Given our last series was IBO,
Hmm.
he's a type of cracker.
Well, he is white. That doesn't narrow it down for me.
Well, given that we had a bunch of people named after cookies, I thought maybe the cracker thing would help you.
It just doesn't help right now.
What is the most popular farmer cracker?
Saltine? He's not Billy.
What is the most popular form of snack cracker?
Arrgh.
I don't know if you just are like
I
blank.
genuinely don't know right now.
What kind of cracker would you give a kindergartner?
Ritz?
What kind of cracker is famously honey flavored?
I have no idea.
What kind of cracker comes in 4 breakable pieces?
I don't know the name of that. I just go, oh, it's this stuff again.
Alright, Griff, his name is Graham.
Graham. Oh,
Graham
names
cracker.
you. That wasn't even in my realm of thinking.
Have you never had a graham cracker before?
It very infrequently, but still.
I've had
Going
one
over
since
stuff.
kindergarten. That's why I came up.
Graham had a duel and he lost. However, he demonstrated his of skill and ability, and he also saw Gundam face to face, which is why he's going to be a part of the anti-Gundam operations, which appears to be just 3 people right now from what we've seen.
Well, no, they said they had a bunch of other people that just hadn't been brought in yet. It's also
Okay,
worth
that's good.
stating that it's a union thing.
Right, yeah. So America's on the run, and didn't think about this for a bit, but that all of America's mobile suits are called flags is absolutely hilarious. Just gonna put a pin on that.
Are they?
They
Because,
are. They are called
well,
flags.
no, because Graham referred to it as a singular, the flag.
Right. So if it's either the model or like the overall production line, it doesn't matter. It's still funny. Um, Other thing that happened is that they did an intervention in South America where they fought a whole bunch at a quarry over mining rights and then also bombed a drug field at the same location.
No, that was Africa.
Uh, well, they did a mining thing. Don't know where that was then.
I think that was South America. I think it was, but oh yeah, probably was.
Right. Then they also bombed a drug field, which
Forgo.
even the Anti-Gundam League went, "Hey, hold up a second. This is actually really good. Just let them do it." And then they also did a duel somewhere with what we think is a human rights coalition.
Nope.
Uh,
Not even the right abbreviation.
the Humanists.
Nope, that's not even what they're about.
The HRT.
Nope.
No.
Not the right abbreviation.
Well, they, Russia,
Okay,
and Co.
if I okay, I mean it's one of them. If I
All
give
right.
you the
They
abbreviation,
still did a.
if I give
They
you the
still did a fight
abbreviation,
there.
do you think you'd figure it out?
Maybe.
HRL.
Uh, Human Reform League.
There you
There we
go.
go. Yeah. So they did another fight with some people there, basically at just a air base, I think. Ended an interesting duel.
When all your
Uh,
Gundams can fly, I think every base is an air base.
True. That the ones they showed off actually had like huge rigs to them to make it happen without the advanced technology. So that's kind of funny. Um. So yeah, they basically hit the entire globe, and then
The entire
unless
globe.
that duel happened in Northern Ireland, just by incident, because they've been doing this operation, the IRA decides to call it quits after 300
I
years.
think the implication was that the IRA saw that the Gundams were hitting everywhere on Earth and
Mhm.
said, no, we're done. It's been 400 plus years. We're still not independent.
Mhm. So yeah, so gosh, a whole lot of stuff happened. We also saw more of the ancillary cast. We saw the newscasters. We saw the side characters, which are now living adjacent to our main character. So now we know where they're gonna fit in.
Well, two different side characters in that one is part of the school thing, which
Mhm.
has his own side characters with him, but also the newscaster lady, which is his sister, which has her own ancillary side characters with her.
Right. And this episode, we're gonna get the international politics of the situation, where undoubtedly they're gonna try to figure out what to do about the situation. And I'm gonna guess there's gonna be extra parts where we're going to see the otherwise daily lives of our Gundam pilots when they're not doing these operations or missions. I
I
think they will go into hiding for a short
mean, we already
period.
saw part of that because that's what they were doing before.
Yeah,
Literally, one of them just went home. So,
right. Even more and in even more detail. That's what I'm expecting anyway. What about you? Do you have any expectations, thoughts? What's going on in your brain right
I
now?
mean, I've literally given them all already.
Fair enough then. So we know what's happening. We're kind of excited for it. Let's just go ahead and see what happens and see if Ireland ever resolves.
正論島におけるソレスタルビーイングの武力介入により我々は148名の尊い兵士たちの命を失いました。
Oh, that's a much bigger kill count than we saw on
ソ
screen.
レスタルビーイングが行っている行為は国家の秩序を乱すテロリズム以
I
外
think
の
that's the
何も
Union
他はあり
president.
ません。私たち人類革新
Nope, that is.
No, they were talking about the Ceylon.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything to me. Also,
嫌われたもんすね。当然の反応だな。
けど私たちのしたことで人格例の軍備
Military Measures Act.
彼らがそうするというのなら、我々は武力介入を続けてい
Well, like I did in the recap I gave last episode, the Human Reform League was the one talking about
ソレスタルビーン
fighting back against the Gundams, or the Celestial.
Cross-eyed, trying to read the top and the bottom at the same time.
Well, do what I told Shy, just do this. Say, told you 200 years ago. Why are you watching it on mute?
Well, you know, it's distracting. He's got to read too. The exact same thing that's on.
Yeah, that's what I like to have when I'm trying to read something. Something distracting.
I mean, why else do we watch and sub?
I mean, I will say, at the very least, I can understand the main character's motivation, given that he's basically a child soldier from a war zone.
Right. So far, his motivations and personality makes perfect sense.
No, they don't.
There's no contradiction here.
I said I understood them. I didn't say that they made sense. He's basically like that one kid from the Twilight Zone who could send everybody to the cornfield when they displeased him. It's like, I don't like war, so I'm gonna use like childlike imagination about how the world should be and just get rid of everybody that fights. Completely disassociating himself with how the world actually works.
You know, after watching IBO, I'm actually displeased that we didn't just exile people to the corn.
I mean, I feel like at some point I actually have to say, that most of the world's technological advances, or most advances in general, come about as a result of war.
I would probably say that claim's untrue, but we don't need to talk about that
I
today.
mean, well, I will openly disagree with you right now, so.
Space. They've used this a couple of times. This is their B-roll footage.
Whatever you're opening is this one station.
人類は半永久的なエネルギー供給を手にするまでに至っていた。しかし、
based on everything that can use that type of energy.
繁栄のため、大いなるゼロサムゲームを続けていた。そう、24世紀になっても人類は。
So, something I'm thinking about the space elevators is like, you can see them from basically half the planet away, and there's 3 of them.
Depends on their width.
I think you could still see them. They will obstruct other things and lights behind them, or be obvious against other things.
It again depends on width. I'm saying width only specifically because, based on real-life science, you would need a material much tougher than anything that actually exists right now. And most of the time, when it's brought up, that material could be made super thin.
Right, but here they've demonstrated that they're about building size, I think, in terms of like width, right?
We haven't seen them against something to give them scale.
Well, they hold mobile suits inside of them. They've been flying around them.
They had hangars built into one, but that's also on ground level because that was in the air that they were flying around. And it's entirely possible thicker at the bottom, smaller at the top. Who knows?
Not take part in the construction. Don't have the right to access. Oh, there we go. Ooh, action politics.
Well, the opening served to give us that energy is not a motivation, despite the fact that last episode they fought over minerals. So, minerals clearly still a reason to fight for, as are drugs, as is the land. Oh wait, no, the IRA gave up on that.
The last oil company queen decides to call in the local terrorists to help. Oh no. The optics.
Okay, so he was the black-haired guy.
I like how they had to specify the real IRA.
僕たちがいなくなれば彼らはすぐに活動を再開する。分かってますよ。紛争
Well, it looks like we're just gonna have to live forever, I guess.
I mean, they got a 200-year-old scientist. I'm sure they have that secret to immortality already.
No, they're already talking about his bloodline.
和平の実現。そのためのガンダム。
Well, I guess our children are our real immortality.
Again, it's not that they're trying to put down war. They're trying to put down what it means to be human.
あのガンダムという機体に対抗できるモビルスーツはこの世界のどこにも存在しないと思われます。それほどの性能かね。 あくまで試験です。
The mouth movements are not lining up the speech at all.
中佐、ガンダムを手に入れろ。
Oh yeah, it's a little bit of just mouth flapping, right?
Well, normally the mouth flapping lines up at least a little bit, but like their mouths are starting to move before the voice kicks in.
入りたまえ。
Oh, this is some dramatic music for the reveal.
Oh, what was her name in Gundam Wing? Start with a T.
Don't remember. Oh, she's a new type.
水面下で続けられていたそうだ。上層部は対ガンダムの切り札と考えている。
本日付で中佐の専任部隊へ着任することになりました。よろしくお願いします。
それにしては若すぎる。
Anyway, the character I couldn't remember the name of. That's who she is. I want two kids to come running by, and one of them hits the other one. Never mind, we're getting a PTSD. I was about to describe something funny, but PTSD, this kid.
The show beats you too.
Well, I mean, it's literally the Terminator 2 scene. You know, get out of there! Nuke goes off.
Oh, hey, he really changed up his outfit today.
I want to say, or at least I hope, that all of their names are fake. Crossroad, Lock On, Hallelujah.
Nope, they're totally real.
I'm sorry, Griff, the only good response would have been, all names are fake.
望むところだと言わせてもらおう。
ほう、これが注意のフラッグですか。ハワード・メイソン準尉。
So there's a new
Raise
type
your
out there. They have a
flag.
special.
グラハム・エーカー注意の要請により、対ガンダム
They got special laser weapons. They got top pilots.
I don't understand why the pilot's
Black
uniform
fighters.
is literally just a suit and tie. See, that's why the Union president looks like that. That's why I thought it was him.
Imagine the president getting into a mech suit.
What, like in Iron Man 3?
Now listen here, Jack. This mobile suit is the top of its line.
タリビアが明日声明を発表するとの報告が。
ベーダー、あなたの予測を聞かせて。私の予報と同じね。
God damn those Swedes. Always fighting
Yeah,
in
I'm about to
Sweden.
say, like, what are they fighting about over there?
The fjords.
分かっていてもやりきれないわね。スメラギさん、たった今タリビアで声明が発表されました。
That was definitely that place. Recognize it on the map anytime I see it.
デビッド、ユニオンの特別議会を開く。主要国代表を招集してくれ。わかりました。
U.S. holding monopoly over other countries? Yeah, that checks out.
It's not the US, it's the Union. And the Union's comprised of a bunch of different nations.
Right, and the guy on TV is saying the U.S. has kind of unilateral control of the Union, and that's not good.
Well, obviously he's about to get shut the fuck down, though.
Oh, he is.
He said, we're gonna respond on military action. In the news. Where the Gundams will hear.
Emergency session time.
あの国は昔から反米意識が根強いけど、ユニオンを脱退して一方的にエネルギー権を主張するなんて。次の選挙のための布石かしらね。そんな軌道エレベーター周辺国家の情勢悪化は太陽光発電システムの運営に支障をきたすわ。当然アメリカの要請を受け、ユニオンは軍事的干渉に踏み切るでしょう。そしてそのことをタリビアも予測しているわ。
I think that would have to be the move. That was like the military commander. Is that we stage a small military action, but we hide most of our military in the region. So we just jump the 1 or 2 Gundams that show up in a
She
mass.
said exactly what I was thinking too. Like they're hoping on an intervention.
タリビアがソレスタルビーイングを利用しているというの。羨ましいわ。あのような恐喝じみた強硬姿勢が貫けるのも。
I have to think that the only winning move here is to Rick and Morty this shit. I'm gonna cover my mech with civilians just tied to it. You wouldn't shoot a bunch of unarmed people, would you?
Oh no, we gotta hide our mech suits. Quick, get into the fake acid pit.
利用できるということよ。彼らを。
たとえ利用されていると分かっていても、私たちは動く。
そう、それでこそ。
Yeah, what if you just sent in a normal ground force military with no guns, right? Just send them in there to fisticuffs the other nation. Will they still send a Gundam in response?
What about stuff happening within the country? Like, say someone is deciding, you know what, we're gonna do a police action on these things and just, like, evict a whole bunch of people. Will the Gundam show up then?
I mean, a police action, we all know the police use military weapons, so...
Well, I mean, in the US, yes. Hopefully not the rest of the world.
We know Mexico
But it is
does
the year
too.
2307.
Well, we know Mexico does too. Many European states.
So...
I'm just saying, what's the least amount of force you can throw at another nation before the Gundam show up?
That is a really, really deep dive he just did there.
Hero would have done it.
Hero would have done it, and he did it. But that is a really deep dive, and also the most inconvenient way to access your Gundam.
I'm just thinking that Gundams constantly show up when mechs are involved. But what if you just had people on the ground? Would the Gundam shoot up just to kill swaths of people on the ground?
I want to say yes.
But what if they weren't armed? What if they literally showed up just to punch? Like fisticuffs the other nation. What do you do?
What if we send the humanity back to the Stone Ages clumsily?
What do you do if it's like city fighting, guerrilla city fighting? Do you just like blow up buildings because people are fighting in buildings?
So are we having all of our elements here, or... did the new types stay behind, or did they say that they were going to go on mission?
Haven't seen them do anything yet.
They were just sitting around at a mess table, so I think they're not involved.
I think you'll find that sitting around is included in my... I haven't seen them do anything yet. I think you'll find that when the nations of all of the world have mobilized all of their militaries, that instigating something in the is probably going to begin World War IV.
Darn it, Maverick, quick flying by the tower like that.
Or is this one of those mysterious futures where we somehow got rid of all of our nuclear weapons?
I imagine for the most part they just don't want to bomb population centers.
You know, like you typically do.
Or bomb small targets. Usually you save nuclear weapons for, I want to destroy an entire continent.
I'm just saying, this is a worldwide mobilization of everyone's militaries. Nuclear forces, the nuclear bombers would be pulled in this situation. They'd be out there. Because you don't want them on the ground. Somebody else launches.
Right, here they're mentioned... Wait, that's just Venezuela.
Which is part of the Union. They said Union forces.
But they're calling it Tabitha?
Yeah, do you not remember where it was? Damn it, Grip. Another episode. You don't remember where things are on the map.
I need a whole separate map here on my table. I need a whole cork board.
No, when the celestial being was asking its computer, it literally projected a fight would happen right there on the map. And they called it Termithia, or whatever.
And here they're attacking preemptively now.
Yeah, you just said we haven't done anything yet. I will be honest, for a moment there, I thought she was eating chalk.
戦争を幇助する国も武力介入の対象であると。
Okay, well, this also answers a different question. No problem fighting in the middle of a city.
They're also, of course, attacking the ones who called them out here in the first place. So they're doing an action that supports the Union, which is kind of fascinating in itself.
I'll be honest, at this point, I would go total dictator. I would say, I have a nuke in the middle of the most populous city in the world. If you continue to fight my military forces, I will detonate and kill everybody.
Yikes.
Look, I fight terrorism with terrorism, okay? Well, how else can you beat these Gundams? You can't. The literally terrorists, they're preventing this government from running its own country.
Right.
私は彼らの行動を遺憾だと思っている。もちろん、ユニオンだった
Oh, we're really saving on the frames here.
His mouth was moving. It counts.
And now we're just still framing on someone else.
I do love that we're still using this old-ass phone.
我が軍は友好国であるタリビア共和国防衛のため、ソレスタルビーイングに攻撃を開始する。
Makes sense to me. Look, your freedom is at stake at this point. Literally, Celestial Being's point of view is, you can't be upset about anything. You cannot fight to protect yourself. You cannot fight to get what you want or need. You can't fight your oppressors. You can't do anything.
Just status quo forever.
Which is the worst of all evils. Because you know what that's also called? Stagnation. It will kill the human race.
I definitely don't want to go to the stagnation.
You're not part of that elite club, Griff. The stagnation. It's a shame.
Well,
it's a shame we got rid of those things we called, what were they? Death charges.
Well, it is a mobile suit meant for space, so it's supposed to handle atmospheres of anywhere from 0 to 1.
I mean,
atmospheres are under the water.
I know the Futurama joke you're going with, but obviously this thing's made of Gundanium or some shit.
Right, it doesn't care.
率先して米軍の助けを借りたのよ。これによりタリビア国内の反米感情は沈静化し、アメリカ主導の政策に舵を切ることができる。タリビアの現政権もアメリカの支援を受けて安泰。他の国々もタリビアの二の舞を避けるべく露骨な反米政策を打ち出そうとはしないでしょう。
Or, what if you're a country with no military, and then you start making demands and instigations against countries that do have militaries? The Gundams can't attack you. You've got no fucking military. What are they gonna attack?
I do love how they just point out the obvious, like, we can't make the same move. We know what's going to happen. If you do it, we can't keep you here. Ah, the series say it. The world isn't that simple.
I just enjoy, at the very least, that they're not carrying through with the Gundam Meisters are the absolute good. Because at least all the side characters are also seeing, this doesn't make any fucking sense. What are we gonna do?
Right. The series is following through on what I wanted. The situation is way more complicated, and starting out with this idealist framework isn't going to hold up as soon as we start adding in the complications. So they're gonna have to adapt somewhat.
It wasn't gonna hold no matter what. No complications. 6 people cannot police the world. Superman cannot be everywhere at once.
I am predicting a bit of a Peacecraft Nation situation here, where they're going to do the secession, but have no military. They're just going to say, we want to leave, or whatever.
The thing I literally just said.
Right, exactly, yeah. So we're on the exact same page, then.
I can't wait for the pacifists to start declaring war on people.
Start declaring things that other people don't like.
We've declared war on this nation. Because, remember, they've declared war on wars started by governments, religions, and ideology. So, what happens if you declare war on a nation, and your version of war is a mass sit-in? Or what if you just protest in front of every like important thing in the country?
Protest is an aggressive, hostile action. We are sending Gundams immediately.
I mean, like that dude literally looked like Hero.
Oh yeah, that was pure hero pose right there.
But I mean, what if if you pick a line like every industrial work site or every government building and prevent people from going into the places of work, do they send a Gundam to scab a person through the line? What do you...
Attempting to unionize is a hostile action and a declaration of war. Sending a Gundam immediately.
I mean, it goes to what I was saying earlier. What's the minimum amount of force that a Gundam won't react to? Okay, can we just multiply that by 10? How many groups of 5 belligerent drunks can I send into the next country to just fight everybody before the Gundam show up?
We're sending our finest sports hooligans over there to cause a little bit of trouble.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Literally, that would work, because basically, your country losing the FIFA tournament, right, basically ruins an entire city for a couple of days.
The out-of-town tourists who are here for the soccer tournament are causing havoc in the streets. Send a Gundam.
I mean, that would be tactic number 2, right? Is that we organize for this country to win the right to host FIFA. Now, we pay all of our players to suck ass this year, but we also give free tickets to any fan to go watch the game live in person. So now we've probably decimated their capital through a large-scale riot made by unarmed civilians. Do the Gundam show up?
Right, it's all very preposterous, and I think the best answer I have to you is that the conclusion I have is that so long as the states exist, state violence will continue in one form or another, because like you said, well, what if they just try a different tactic? What if they try the minimum boundaries and they still attempt to have a conflict?
Oh, that's what I'm saying, because I'm just following things through to their most insane logical conclusions. So far, the Gundams only show up where mechs are fighting. But I think that's because this is a world that exists where mechs were developed to be the ultimate, like, tank, right?
Yeah.
But we haven't seen anybody just rush along with guns, you know?
Right, there's been no infantry movement yet.
I mean, but we have places like the IRA that are just giving up, and that's all there are.
Who probably don't have mobile suits in the first place, actually.
Right, but I mean, that's all they are, is like, they've got no uniform, they're just all civilians. The IRA is, plant a bomb, walk away, nobody knows who the fuck did it. So, why would they give up? It seems like a Gundam would literally never show up for any of their shit.
Right. We brought up Vietnam a little bit before. It's like, what if they get caught up in a guerrilla conflict here? What if the adversaries blend into the civilian population? What are you going to do then? We don't know, because it's more complicated than that. The world isn't so simple. The show said it itself.
I mean, it was one of my first go-tos. Put a nuke in a city and tell them, hey, you keep interfering, we're just going to start detonating nukes.
Theta, I'm going to take away your nuke privileges, unfortunately.
Hey, if you keep interfering, we're going to cut the base off of one of these elevators, and it is going to devastate a line across the planet. I know that you had mentioned this before. The Mars trilogy, which is hard sci-fi, covers this. When the revolution on Mars goes from like economic to political to military, where the space elevator gets blown up at its base, and like the stuff that's floating around gets hurled off deep into space, but the elevator comes crashing down and like cuts a line through the planet.
That is worldwide devastation right there, yeah.
Well, it's very isolated devastation, but it's also basically like a what do you call it? Rod from heaven. But it's
right.
Like it's basically because the velocity is as such that the entire thing is being dragged down.
Right, there will be a lot of damage just by pure kinetic energy. There'll be a lot of dust kicked up into the air, global temperatures will fall, and no one will have a good time. Oh, also, energy will be cut off to literally a third of the globe.
And the three nations that exist, all have access to this Armageddon button.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, you know what? You keep fucking with our right to independently rule ourselves and engage in global politics. Fuck it. We're just gonna end this thing once and for all.
Right. A space elevator is a very easy target to upset.
Well, just each country has one that they have eminent control over. They could just easily say, global threat.
It's also a single point of failure for those, like, national organizations, right?
Well, I mean, you could also target another space elevator. The Gundams are very obviously mostly indestructible on their own. But at the same time, could they stop an entire military from targeting a thing?
My guess is probably not. Like I was saying earlier, they could probably fail at a strategic level, and I feel like the next time indicates that maybe they do actually fail a mission.
And it wouldn't even have to be a military. Literally just a bunch of people with explosives.
I think that's literally what we're getting to.
I say, oh god, what was it? Not Foundation. Yeah, no, not Found. Yeah, it was Foundation. Did you watch the Apple series for Foundation?
No, I haven't.
They literally do the whole space elevator thing. And, and they do it with people just carrying explosives.
Oof. Yeah, that'll do it. So, there's a whole lot that can go wrong in this series. It's gonna be exciting to see what really goes wrong.
It's a very weird tact that I feel like I'm taking, because I'm very much carrying the torch for personal freedoms here. But I am also very much a supporter of mandatory, Sorry, my brain just stopped working. That's why I did it.
Yeah, you gotta get to work.
Well, that's why I did the thing and you didn't respond.
I don't know what the thing is.
Vaccinations, mandatory stay-at-home orders. I very much support these things because they're for the global the mass good. At the same
Ye-
time, I support the ability to fight for the right to do anything.
Mhm.
So, my morals are in conflict.
Right. So, well, at least you can say the series is a success on that point, in that it's actually gotten you thinking about the things that you care about.
No, stating I'm stating the status quo as it exists. I've not been challenged on anything. Again, I support the government's right to do a thing, which is like already Griff's red flags going off.
Yeah, just gotta go ahead and go, well, I'm gonna ignore that.
We've already had this debate. I
Oh
think
yeah, we did. We have a whole series about it. Go watch it.
specifically sparked off the moment that cops started getting attacked in 24th Ward.
hmm Uh, I'm just trying to figure out how to segue into the series, staple it back to like the main conversation.
This is all part of the main conversation. This all has. That's the thing, Griff, is you keep trying to segue back, but this is all very much related to the show.
hmm well, I think I don't have much more to say myself. What about you?
Well, I have a 5-hour lecture I would like to give on the relationship between America and all its, third world colonies that it no longer gives any rights to. Like, did you know?
Yes, let's talk about how this series will cover the violence of colonialization.
Well, I was more thinking like those, they're not states, but they're U.S. territories that have no rights to say how the U.S. governs itself, despite having the force of the U.S. government inflicted upon them. But that was a joke. I wasn't actually going to launch into that.
In that case, let's just go ahead and wrap it up here and save all of our politics for next time. For right now, I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and this has been Gundam 00. We will catch you next time. See you, everybody.